Game of Thrones angry people. Oh, so serious and angry. Ugh. I'm not into that. Hi. Hey. Maybe there's something good about it. I don't know. Not one of my favorite shows. Game of Thrones. Who knows? Maybe that stuff would. Maybe every one of those film productions would be kind of cool because it's my work that I do sometimes. It's not all of my work. I do God's work. I do God's work. I was rubbing my eyes. Let's just not show my face. Here, let's show a black screen and listen to my voice, how it feels right now. Well, I drank all this coffee and stayed up for like 2 days, not 2 days, like one day. I stayed up for 22 hours because I kind of had to. And it's leading up to, am I going to sell my house or not? And you can hear my voice on here. And that's the amazing thing. Hi, Jane. Hi, Jane. Hi, Jane. Jane. Okay. So that's the amazing thing about films and videos is it's one step more than just music alone. Music is amazing. That was one of my favorite things to, one of my favorite types of, stuff that I liked growing up, listening to cool music and playing music, of course, but listening to cool music. And that's the awesome thing about films and videos is you could just not show an image like I'm doing now. It's all black, and just hear someone's voice talking, or hear music, or sound design. And more than just music, you could have sound design. You could tell a story. You can narrate a story. And so I also did creative writing. I really liked creative writing. And that was since high school. I had an ability at it, and it was kind of passed down from my mom and dad because they were educated more. They got like a master's degree or something, and they were good at the English language, and they spoke in proper English. Like they're pretty good about that. And so by honoring my mom and dad for God and to honor them, and just for God, really, actually just honoring them for God, because that's how God wanted me to be and how God raised me. I was supposed to be good at writing. So I did writing, creative writing, music, kind of from someone in my family, on my mom's side or whatever, and other stuff like that, is movies and videos. So the cool thing about videos and films is that you could show a wall. You could have no sound and show a painting. Actually, you could put it on a tripod and show a painting and just hold on the painting and not say anything. And then the video or film becomes a work of art. You're looking at the work of art, or you could do camera angles and stuff and zoom in on parts of it or whatever. But you just hold on a work of art and look at it and don't say anything. And that's the awesome thing about films and videos is that it's more than just a painting. It's more than just a painting. My eyes look like shows rubbing my eyes, whatever. Still looks good. Thank God I have my eyes that they're okay. It's more than just a painting. It's more than creative writing and screenwriting that writes a story. It's more than just an actor on a stage doing acting, even though there's kind of no comparison between theater acting and film acting in some ways that you can't really replace the real live shows that people see with their own eyes. The people putting on the live shows, they're not going to be able to, no matter how good the entertainment stuff gets. Like if they start doing 360 videos and these 3D interactive worlds that they recreate with like headsets and stuff, or have like a room you go into and it's like you look at a screen everywhere around and sit in a chair. You know, it's never going to take the place of real live shows. So in real life, and things that we do in real life, it's never better than God's work that we're supposed to do, unless God wants us to really, unless our work happens to be in films and videos, and that may be first, that God wants us to do that work first. And God gave me abilities at all those things to do all that stuff. Like, you know, I don't want to make this video selfish, but I already I already was going to talk about something selfish just to let you know what's really going on with my life. It's pretty intensely enough to hear. I'm either going to leave next week, and I think I won't get to have this beautiful house back. And there's no house like this on earth. There's no house like this on earth. But I have to work. And I don't know what I would do down in Roanoke for work, other than work for my mom and dad's houses. But my filmmaking stuff didn't make enough money from here down in Roanoke, down in the town down there. And my videos didn't make enough money to pay my bills. And I don't like going into Roanoke as much to socialize every day. It just would feel wrong and bad. I shouldn't get some brick and mortar business different from my mom and dad to go down there and socialize. So I don't know how I'm going to stay here. The other option to stay here is, but that's what I do, is filmmaking and videos, you know? And a video is more than a work of art, because you can show a work of art on the wall and just hold on the work of art. Or you can play a song and have a black screen, like this screen is black, and play a song. And then you could add images to the song, so it's more than just music. It's more than just music, and it's more than just a painting. And it's more than, well, it's not really more than an actor on a stage. It's not any more than a live performance, because that's a little different kind of form of art. If they're really performing live and doing stuff, that's really interactive. You see them doing what they're doing in real life, and it can't be redone in movies, videos, or any new technology they come up with that's interactive, like video games or some kind of 360 experience that'll probably be next, more realistic thing. And if they ever make smells to go along with it to make it a more realistic experience, they can't really replace reality. People are going to be wearing headsets and stuff to like feel like they go into this like CGI world, but that could be too crazy if they just do it too much. But it's fun the way it is now, and it's really good entertainment the way it is now. But it's not going to replace going out there in the real life. And then, but the thing is, the thing. What's the thing? What is an it? An it is something inanimate on earth, unless it's somehow animated, but it doesn't have a soul because it's an it. Unless there's some kind of it, like the devil, who is so crooked and distorted, well, worse than crooked, he is so misshapen from how God created him that he's now a bastard. He's not in his original form, and he's not even a man or a woman, and he's more of an it, and a man and a woman, and he's just not the way God created him, because he started all the meanness and bad stuff. So that could be an it, the devil. Other than that, anyone who has a soul is a man or a woman. And lady boys, I don't know how that, but uh, and it is a thing. So that means all the things on earth one day, no matter how good they are, will be destroyed in the lake of fire. Literally, no matter how good they are, even if it's the most good, beautiful work of art creation or house ever built, or anything ever done on earth, everything on earth will burn in the lake of fire, because there's at least a small amount of sin in it. And it's not, you don't destroy it now. You don't just go, let's destroy this earth. I don't like this. It's demonic. Destroy it. And it may not be demonic. No, no, no. And so you don't destroy it now. We're alive right now, and it's our work that we do. Jesus was a carpenter. He did good work as a carpenter. And we might do work on earth like creating music or plays. Somebody might be in a play. They call it a play, but Shakespeare, those really old days of the theater, those live actors who did that stuff. And a nurse, a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, a real profession, not sex as a profession. That's not real work. That is lust for work, and it does not count as work. That is not how God wants us to work. Sex work is not real work. That's wrong and bad. It's lustful, and it's not that good. They got to get out of that stuff. That's no way to make a living. Nudity, if it was like for artistic reasons, I think it may be possible for that to not be sexual. And if it's not sexual, then maybe it's okay sometimes. I mean, if somebody could look at those paintings of the naked people and never think anything sexual, and not notice anything sexual, and that wasn't the intent, then maybe it's possible for that to be real art and work. I know some of it's possible, but you'd have to really be without sin for it to not be sexual or something when people are naked. So it would have to really be without sin, and then some people are going to get tempted by it anyway, maybe. But I don't know. But it's a sinful earth anyway, so we can't get... So the sin will all be destroyed one day, and then God will bring heaven here, and everything will be okay. and there won't be any more suffering or bad feeling or anything like that from the sin. And he might... And I know he's going to make homes, new homes that are better than the homes we have now. But if there's something as beautiful as this home in the woods, he may recreate it really close to how it is now. It was that beautiful at this house, I think. And I may have to leave next week and may never get to live here again. And that's so weird that wood is in the wall. That wood must be from the 1800s, from an old building, or maybe just a tree that grew in the woods. That was a special tree they chose and they put in the woods. But they used recycled material from these cool old buildings in town, in Roanoke, and around town. They're building when they were tearing down really well built old buildings that were cool and stuff and had like huge stuff in it that looked cool. They put it into this house, but it wasn't really as southern back then. It was so long ago. It was the 60s, but I guess it was kind of southern. I don't know. But it's not just that. It was really special. The people survived Nazi Germany who made it here, and they don't think they're any bit. They got right along with the southern people and everyone here, and it's okay. And it's not like it's not like a bunch of racist rednecks or something like that here. They're not like good old boys or something. It's really good here, and there's no house like it on earth for me. There's one for you that's better, likely. There's likely one for you, unless somebody watching it, this house is for you. Maybe. That'd be maybe Danica and the kids. And it's not the guy I think who wants to buy my house, but I don't know. He may not end up buying it. I don't know if I'm going to close on it or not. But it's supposed to close next week. And there's this work that we have to do to the house for the appraisal to pass the loan that he's getting. And I'm going to show you something on the computer just to see how I'm just going to tell you the truth, how I feel when I see any home, any other home on YouTube, even if it's a rich, wealthy home. Mine has always been better for me than all of them that I ever see on this. This is actually not even these places are okay. I wasn't even thinking about let me wipe the screen off. I wasn't even thinking about where they live or anything in the videos when I saw this stuff. You know, this is somebody's TV. This is like a Morton Downey Jr. Soundstage or TV place where he filmed that with those guys. This is good. This is Morton Downey Jr. I think he made it to heaven. And he was kind of good in his own way. I kind of like him. Morton Downey Jr. He just showed up in my search results. I started watching some Morton Downey Jr. videos. He has like a literally big mouth. Talk about this. But no, that's not Morton Downey Jr. That's Morton Downey Jr. That's Morton Downey. I like watching him sometimes. I've watched him a few times in videos, like for a couple days. He just showed up. But he died like 11 years after that. In 1989, if this was 1989. Anyway, here's the thing I was talking about is that look at these houses. It's like, where is this? You know how this feels to me? Empty. Very little love for me. What would I do there? Unless my kids were there skating. If I was teaching them how to skateboard. You know, that might be fun, but it was so long ago when I was a part of that world, that mainstream world out in society. You know, places like that. Gosh, I haven't been there in so long. There's regular places out there in society. I've been out in the woods for almost 7 years. Next month, it'll be 7 years. This is July 13th. I just look at those regular stuff there, the regular clothes they wear. I guess that'd be okay in this neighborhood. I have the entire mountain. And I just liked it here. And it was away from society. And I stayed and stayed for 7 years. Almost 7 years. And I had to work so hard in the house. I'll never be able to work that hard on any one thing again under those circumstances that were stressful. But I can maybe make a masterpiece feature film or something like that one day again. I don't know. That I might work harder on it, but actually feel good about. Because I was sad and alone here when I had to work, and she just didn't come home. Her and the kids just didn't come home. But looking at this stuff, if I could point to it in front of the video, you know, it's a little scary going to that random place. Why would I be all alone there without my stuff in my house? Who would be there? If Rowan was there, hey, everything would be okay. Everything would be okay with Rowan and Ivan and the baby. Wow, I better have my wallet, my car keys, my cell phone charged up so we can safely get in a car, her in a car seat if we had to go anywhere. Hopefully my car. You know, if I had to have the responsibility of all three of them right now, they'd be okay. If they had me, I'd stay awake. I'd do whatever I had to make sure they're okay. And that would be pretty good having them. But it was better with Danica there. The way we parented was like all of us together as a family. But I think now that's not going to be that way anymore. I think we're not going to be a family anymore together at home, but we're still a family. And I'm going to be there for all three kids and get along better with Danica. But like, where is that place? It's frightening to me, because what would I do there? Try to meet a new wife? You know, when I tried to go out there and meet a new wife after we had gotten a divorce, it it went bad and made me feel, it just made me feel bad and wrong. So I didn't like being alone at home. I like being married and having someone at home to be close to and love and all that stuff. You know, if I've showered, I don't want to like rub my dirty self on her if it was like, but I don't do that anyway. I want Danica and the kids, but I don't know if I'm gonna get to be with her or not. I could just die maybe any day, or I might live to be 117. I might literally be 100, live to be 117 years old, because I felt pretty close to death, like one of these like Ray Liotta people, because he's not Ray Liotta. He's some younger guy. I might live to be 100 or something, and I don't know, but I don't know how long I'm gonna live. Only God knows how. Time to run. That's for Rowan, my son, and Ivan. They should get to run. You know, they're teenagers. My son doesn't look like that kid. I don't know who that kid is, but he looks about my son's age. And these are the things I think about when I see these videos. Oh, I don't know what, you know. But I was gonna show you here what I think of this stuff. I don't know why it keeps showing skateboarding and stuff like that. I talked about Chris Hofer and biking in a video, and then it kept showing me biking these days. I don't know why. Ugh. See, this is like more my style these days, but I think it's all going to change. This is like these guys on a green screen in their house. Unless that's crazy, that's outdoors. I don't know. But I think my life is going to change, and I got a feeling I'm going to be going out there almost every day in a new way of doing things. And New World Order. No, he's not a New World Order. That's Martin Scorsese. I like him. He's one of my favorites. But I was afraid of him because he did like gangster stuff, and I like him better now. You can't turn your back on all those people. They're human souls. They're human beings. But I farted. See, I farted. He had a real country accent, even though he was raised around black folk. But there's no house like this on earth. There is no house like this on the entire earth. This place is better than, look at this door. I'll just tell you the truth now, since if I told you before, people would try to hurt. It's like people get jealous and they want the best. They want to have the best one. They want to have the most money. They're supposed to have the most money and stuff, but not really. Look how huge this door is. This is a huge custom door. Hand carved door. It's huge with these huge metal things on it. And, you know, this is made to withstand the tribulation, the end of times. And they didn't even know it, I think, or they did, but they had been to a war in Nazi Germany and survived Nazi Germany as foreigners, looked down on as foreigners. They took all their money and they sent them trekking across country, but they didn't kill them like Jews, but they were foreigners, and they survived. But it's just a place on earth. I'm going to Los Angeles, you know. I liked this place so much I kept staying, and it's it's a thing. It's going to be, one day it'll be burned in the lake of fire, but it's really special. And so I'm probably going to Los Angeles. This is like scary out here. The tribulation's probably not going to happen now. It could happen in 1,000 years, 3,000 years. It could happen any day. We don't know when the tribulation's going to happen. And this is the most beautiful place on earth that was like, it was like heaven. It was never like hell at this neighborhood. I never saw the hell stuff here. And I'm probably not going to see it again because I found a way to get sleep now. If I quit my medicine, I can sleep. So, um, so thank God I don't see hell anymore out there. Hi. I don't know how even good my face looks or what. This is just I don't know why. And so this is amazing. This is a mansion, one of a kind mansion out in the woods on 1,200 acres. Where generally you have the entire 1,200 acres all to yourself to walk if you lived here, but you don't. You don't. I do. And I may have to leave and never get to come back here until who knows when, or maybe not even get to see the inside of it. But one day maybe I'll get. I don't know what's gonna happen. So they've been doing work to this. They painted all that, and they painted most of the trim on the entire outside of the house. Oh shit! And it looks like desolate and dark and alone in here. It just feels desolate and alone, like it got dark. Because her and the kids aren't here or something. But there's a crawl space. They painted this window. I'm not even gonna show the paint, or I will. Yeah, I'm supposed to. I don't know. They painted this window frame. We put a new door on here. John Birch put that on. He's this guy who works for my dad or something. They painted these doors. They sanded and painted those doors. They look really good now. Is this door open? Oh, weird. I must have left it open. See, it's always kind and good here. If anybody just walked in, it wouldn't be that bad. You know, it was kind and good. Nobody hurt anyone here. But it feels like desolate and alone and dark and sad if I have to leave. So I might get to stay. I don't know. And there's no place like this on earth. That is a 30-foot wide fireplace. Okay, I don't care how the fuck rich your house is, unless it's $100 million or $200 million or $40 million, you probably don't have a fireplace anywhere near this good on the entire fucking earth. I'm sorry, I don't mean to curse. Don't kill me. Don't kill me. Don't try to burn my house down. I'm sorry to be sinful. Praise God, praise Jesus. I'm sorry I cursed. But look at this beautiful fireplace. This fireplace 30 feet wide. I measured it. It's 30 feet wide. You know, when you go into regular houses out there, I don't care how rich they are, their fireplaces look like little pieces of shit compared to this. This place is so beautiful. It's the only place like it on the entire earth. It is beautiful. Well, that needs some work to the wood, but you know, this is it's made in cement. That those are flowers. It's a really well-made building. I'm not trying to brag, but there's no house like it on earth. No matter how poor the condition is here, even if it wasn't worth much money, it when I first got here, is the most amazing place I had ever seen. And it's way out in the woods, so there's more privacy here than I think any house I've ever been to or any place I've ever been to in my entire life. Because there's like 1,200 It sounded like there's a voice. That scared the shit out of me. I'm getting out of here. Sometimes that's weird, but I don't want to be some crazy ass golem, crazy ass me house or something and turn into an old guy, an old golem. So it's just an it, but I heard a voice in there. That's pretty weird. So I can't keep staying here in like my house or something like that. It was like the old hundreds of years old times. It was pretty creepy, because not creepy, but like look how wide this foundation is. But that could just break, who knows. But it's 5 feet wide right there. And it's just they don't make a home like this. This is like, but it could crumble to and it burn in the lake. It'll burn in the lake of fire. But look at that hand carved, hand done wood. They just painted this white and they redid that. And I had to like get rid of all that old wood out of here by hand and use a piece of wood and knock all the old wood off and then replace this wood. They managed to replace it so it can pass the it can get the VA loan, the inspection, so the guy is supposedly going to buy it. And it just, there's no place like this on earth. It's so strange. There's just no place like it on earth, and the most beautiful, good place I've ever been. It's dark, and somehow it's like dark here, but sometimes it's so beautiful. And the sun was out earlier today, and just feels like, I don't know. And so it's the entire mountain, and usually it's just me. I could drive around and park my car on some of the mountain, and there might not be anyone usually not anyone for miles or a mile. And I was rubbing my eyes. I don't even know what I look like right now. Hi, I probably look okay enough. I don't know. And so this is where I'd like her and the kids to live, but she just didn't come home, so I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So I leave it up to God and Jesus, but I may have to get out of here in a few days or a week. Here's some of the work they did. They finally sanded and repainted this wood on here, which could have been covered up with soffit, but I don't know. They could have put some caulk in between there. Like, they may come back. I think this is unfinished, and they're gonna put caulk in there. And these guys that my dad knows who paint, and I didn't have to do the labor myself this time. It was a miracle. And because right at the end, my dad helped get the work done for some reason, because he was like the real estate agent. But it's not the end, it's not burning in the lake of fire, the second death. It's not the end. We're not finished. The sin was finished. It doesn't always mean that when you use the word finished, but there's Jesus' last words. But it is finished. The sin is just destroyed and will be gone forever, and all of us will make it to heaven. Even the people who end up in hell for all eternity, when time ends, and they'll make it to heaven. But you don't want to spend forever in hell. So I just don't feel that good coming out here. I don't know why. This feels desolate and alone and dark, empty, alone. Maybe my dad. Maybe I miss my dad. Maybe I'm supposed to stay in Roanoke. I don't know what it is. It's not my dad. I don't know what it is. We painted that door. Well, the kids, these 2 kids and their dad, they did really professional work. For some reason, I didn't have to paint much of it at all. But I painted those 2 doors. I painted that door. And John Birch put them on. And they started. And so it's pretty good here. But, it's not the best house on earth or something like that. This could be, one day it may only be worth $140,000, or one day it may be worth 30 million, because It's a beautiful work of art. It took them 4 years to create this home. So it's not like any other home. It's just, I don't love it. You're not supposed to love things. But for me, I really liked how it felt here. And I may have to leave because she didn't come home with the kids. And it feels like dark and lonesome. And she didn't come home with the kids. So, it's just, that was when everything was okay for me. And so I like living with her. I like living with her and the kids with her loving me. But I don't know. It just feels like, oh shit, there's some voice I heard in here. It could have been the creatures or something that they built something. They built something for me. Shit. It was scary as shit. I'm gonna have to get out of here. But like sometimes it was scary down there and down here because through there you can get through there and there's a hole in the ceiling and it goes into like the crawl space and any animal could get into that. But it's just animals like raccoons or something. They sound like they can talk or something. So I don't know what it is unless it's weird creatures who exist on the earth. Because one time I'll show you these strange supernatural things that happened here. It's pretty weird, but they're godly and Jesus-like. I think it was angels. Nothing bad. There's weird creatures, I think, that live down there, just maybe animals or something, and they put like this weird tree, like an old tree, and a lamp in there, and they put it inside the crawl space where there's dirt, so that the strange creatures, like I think they did it for the raccoons, just as do something fun for the animals, because they were so nice to the animals here, and they were so nice to bees. They were really nice to bees, and they let the bee land on the finger, but now it feels desolate and dark and like Game of Thrones. That's not how North Carolina and my friend Brian Blunt is. I acted like he was like Game of Thrones. He was angry. He thought I was going to be famous in California. I got the thought of him I think he's gonna make it to heaven. He's one of my friends he was in Rebel Fish. He was in my film Rebel Fish. And besides that, he's one of my best friends. He has a good family. He had a good job. He probably has a pretty expensive house. But, this house, there's no other house like it. And there's no other human. It's not like a human being. And it is going to be burned up in the lake of fire one day. You can't take it to heaven. But our human souls will make it to heaven. So, I think he's going to make it to heaven. But I got the feeling like he was like angry at something. I don't know why. He was like acting like, he was like angry at the Hollywood stuff. He was like angry. He thought I was leaving to go to Hollywood or Los Angeles to do famous stuff. I feel like I have to brush my teeth. And I was like, I got angry. I was like, oh, Game of Thrones. Because it's, because like I don't know. I gotta brush my teeth. I'm gonna brush my teeth. The well water here is the best well water I've ever had in my entire life. My grandmother's was pretty good. She has a well. Because my dad was their family was from Ireland and they had wells back then. And the well water is really good. But the well water from this mountain where I found Jesus, where I found God and Jesus more than at any other time, even though I already believed in Jesus. The well water right from this mountain, the water from this mountain, this is just the best water I've ever drank. And I have it running out of this. See, that's it. Let me see. Somebody can try to pretend it's the throat. BO or something weird ass thing into it or something. That sucks. But the water here tastes really good, and they tested it. Of course, it's good. I don't want to sell the house. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I haven't put as much heart and love into. I haven't put as much love and trust in God to just not even know what I was talking about, but so much love for God that I trust in God to just think with the love, or just do what I knew was right, the best, and love, which would have been to stay here. And I had gotten depressed here. Ooh. I was supposed to just stay here. Go down and brush my good. I would have liked to keep brushing my teeth. My feet itch. My feet itch. Oops. I don't know. I'm glad I don't have hurt feet. I haven't been working out with the weights. I've been laying in a bed or awake for 23 hours trying to think, am I really moving to Los Angeles any day now or next week? Or am I gonna stay here at this house where my mom and dad live in town? They live right there, like 12 minutes or 12 minutes away. Something like that. 12 minutes away. Hey. That guy's not home again. It's so private here. I don't know. He lives somewhere else too, I think. And there's my mom and dad's house somewhere in there. I think they're like there somewhere, maybe. They're, and I just drive there. And I don't usually go into town because I don't know what I'd do there. And it felt wrong to be by myself and not with her and the kids. And it's been that way for about 8 years. And they just didn't come home after 6 years of it. And when she was in town, she just was funny about letting me see them. And I thought, well, they didn't come home. I can't keep getting older. And I was depressed. And so I thought, I'll just move to California and get a lawyer to write her a letter and say, she's got to live in California now. We don't have to go to court or anything, and we can live there and work in the movies and music and stuff I actually like to work at, like my movies. I haven't done since 2014, and videos, of course, videos, and then I'd pay my bills at it from there, or will. I don't know. I think I have to, because my dad told me like 8 months ago, get a job. And since then, I had to get my house all ready. For a while, it was 12 hours a day. And I had some days off now. And I think it was either go into town and work at some random ass, who knows what, maybe teach at a college, but I don't know how I'd even do that without her and the kids. It would feel like so empty, like a CGI, like I'd actually be going through the motions of doing that and being around the people, but it would be like, why would I work even more to get even, to be, well, I don't know. But I love her and the kids. But, I might have to go to LA and go out there and work at something I like and get a social life. So I think that's what I'm supposed to do. And then I won't get to come back to this mountain unless one day maybe I can get one of the houses here again, or this house. But this was the house that I spent 7 years on the work on this house. 7 years, full-time hours. Well, 5 hours and 40 minutes a day. 5 hours and 40 minutes a day for 7 years on one home. And I don't know what work you want to see. I painted this. I put these new things on that I hired a guy to do because I was going to do it, and I got my friend to do it, and I painted all this cement myself. At one time this was painted gray, but I maybe did it before it rained and it came off. And then I sealed every place with that patch where it used to have a small leak through the room below, and I sealed that really well. It's sealed. It doesn't leak anywhere. The entire roof is sealed. There's so much work I did. The gutters, every inch of this, I washed that. I don't know. It was a bunch of work, but it's beautiful here. But all of a sudden, the sun got covered up with these darker clouds, and it just feels like a slight bit devoid of love and empty. Something, it's gone. I don't know what that means. It's gone. Feels like shit, and not like shit, but kind of bad. I don't know why. Because I thought, handing it over to the guy who didn't work in the house at all and just, is gonna live it up here or something after I spent 7 years of my best work on this house and almost died 3 times, or felt like I almost died 3 times from the physical effects it had on my body and under the conditions of loneliness and stuff, and hoping to get it ready for her and the kids. And it wasn't the easiest thing. It was the most difficult one thing that I ever worked at that was like a money making thing, and also to have enough space in the home for her and the kids, so we'd have, all 5 of us would have somewhere we could stay. That was pretty good. I bought it for only $102,000, and it was just so much work. And but the past like couple years, I wasn't doing as much of the labor kind of work. I was like cleaning it. I had to get it really looking good, but now the past few days, I don't have to keep it clean to sell it. But how could I ever do anything wrong to any inch of it? This is a work of art. This is not a timeless work of art, but this is I spent 7 years on getting the place better, and they spent 4 years building it. And it was the most special place I've ever been to on earth, where I found God in Jesus. The house. And it's just really good. I don't know what I'm showing right now. You may not really understand how good those people were. I don't know if that's an X or what that stands for, but they're really kind and good. These white European people, and they believed in things so different from the norm that they were put in a concentration camp in Russia because they were against the socialists, the people like Stalin and these oppressive government people. And the people who built the neighborhood, their son is Mishka, but their father was a journalist, and he didn't like that stupid ass mainstream evil ass shit that it was back then. That socialism, and back in the day, that was bad. The bad socialism. I don't know if it's any different from today's socialism. It probably is. And it's not really quite the same as it was, but it's a little bit the same as socialism. They're against the socialists, and they're from Russia, and his father was a journalist, a famous journalist, and he spoke how he felt in Russia, and they didn't like that, and so they put him and his son, who was a child, in a concentration camp in Russia, and they broke free, and they got free, and they went on foot, maybe barefoot, all the way to Finland, or somehow
with shoes, and so they made it to Finland, and Inga was there, and her dad lived in a mansion like this house. That's why he built it for her, because before her parents were her dad died and her mother was killed, and they had to go to Germany for political reasons. Uh, there's some shit I don't know. They just went there. She went there because he thought it would be the best, safest place, Germany, and then Nazi Germany happened, and then, but it was awful. It was awful. They took out all her. She almost died. They had to go across country in freezing weather, and it was. I look like shit right now. I don't even want to show myself, and so I look okay. Just somehow my hair didn't look as good. That's okay, great. But he was an outspoken person politically. His father was a famous journalist in Russia. He was like a big kind of famous journalist in Russia. There's a documentary on George Solonovich, or Ivan Solonovich, which is weird because we named our son Ivan, and they just happen to have the same name. He's not like reincarnated from. There's no reincarnation. That's stupid. I didn't have the God in Jesus as much. I was like worried. I thought Ivan, my son, was reincarnated as that guy, but it's not true. The Bible says that he's not him. He just happens to be Ivan too. My son's name is Ivan. It's a Russian name. I don't know why Danica chose that. Or it's a European name, and it means John. It means John. He's named after me, Ivan. But he's more like, I guess it's because he's like kind of more white. And Rowan is Rowan. It sounds like an Irish name. He's more Irish looking. They both have blue eyes, my sons. And and then the baby's good too. The baby's good too. And so we were gonna live here at this house, and Inga lived in Finland, and she went to an art school, and her dad took care of them, and they had the best of times, and they lived in the countryside in a mansion in Finland, or like a really huge home that was like a mansion. He made good money. He was like the head of a factory or something like that. And I think this is what happened. I don't know if it's true. You can read a book on it called The Long Trek to Solola by Inga Solonovich. Inga Solonovich. And yeah, man, take the shit of my looks and suck it in and try to feel old as I can. That's what I'll try to do. Take the shit looks and try to save it and take it from you to save it and look older. I don't know. Like somebody has those ideas. Somebody has those ideas. I think I don't know who, but oops, I was trying to film myself. I didn't know it wasn't filming. And I haven't really been ready. I have been tired and not feeling best, but oh gee, I shouldn't say. Not, but and so and so Inga Inga said, so her father like died, and then they didn't have any money anymore, and he owned a mansion. It was the one that made all the money, and then they didn't know where to get money, and her and her sisters didn't have any money, but she already made it into an art school, like a real art school, and they had some money left or something, and then they're poor. I think they had to be poor. And then George escaped Russia, and he met her, and he said Russia was so crazy politically that they had put him in a concentration camp when he was a teenager with his dad, who was that outspoken journalist, and they didn't like that. She had asked mainstream socialism or whatever it was back then. They didn't like that, and so Russia was mean about stuff to journalists and stuff like, and if they didn't like him, so then George brought him to Germany and thought, oh, it'll be safe in Germany. Come on, let's go to Germany. And then they made it to Germany, and they started bombing it and stuff, and the Nazis took over and Hitler took over, and it was in the late 30s, I think, when they got there. And Mishka was born, and he's one of my best friends. He's one of my best friends,
and he's like 82, but he looks young, and he's really nice and cool. And he goes, "Hey, I'm gay," and he says I'm gay like the whole 1940s way. And but like I can't tell if he's like he's just such a kind, really good man. He has a wife, well, not really a wife, a girlfriend. Like he never got married, but that's really his wife, and she's like a little younger than him. But he always looked younger, and he's like 82. And my dad thought for sure he's in his 60s. And I had to, like, God had me, like, not really say that he was 82 to my dad. But I just ended up telling the truth anyway. And then, Mishka he's one of my best friends, and he's their son. And he owns this really sunny house, the sunny, bright, sunny house that's, like, right down the street. It's, like, has an orange roof or whatever. And and he's one of my best friends now. Something happened where like my best friend started to be older than my same age, but not really, because Jevin's one of my best friends, Corey, and Chris Hofer. I guess Brian Blunt's still one of my best friends, but I haven't talked to him as much. There's like people they've been in some of my movies, like their short films and stuff, but more than that, they just were my friends since I was a kid. And there's Stefan, Nathan. Nathan is head of all design at Vans Shoes. Every design of the shoes, every logo they make, Vans Shoes, that huge ass company, he's head of all design. He has like 2 Ferraris, 2 Porsches. He's one of my best friends, Nathan Iott, and he's like one of our most successful friends. And but he lives in LA, but not really LA. He lives down south in Newport Beach. It's kind of too far for me to commute there a bunch. But he didn't really live in LA. He lives technically it may be the Los Angeles greater area, but it's so far south I couldn't commute there. It'd be like 4 hours or 3 hours or something. I'm itching my foot. And then, see, like, when I look on here at all this stuff out there, I just didn't care about going to any of it anymore, unless it was like, but I don't see all this stuff. I don't see any of it. I don't see any of it. I don't see any of their stupid houses and stuff that I would be like, ugh, how awful to have to live there. Any of their apartments, any of their houses that all look the same to me, no matter how kind of rich they are. It's like they have neighbors living right next door they have to think about. And it's like any of those places I thought were so stupid, every one of them on earth, I would not have lived in besides this house. How beautiful this house was. And I kept staying and staying here. I wouldn't leave for almost 7 years. Next month it'll be 7 years went by. I got a little older too. Thank God I'm not Rip Van Winkle. Thank God I'm not Rip Van Winkle. 20 years went by and he had an old gray beard and was an old man. Rip Van Winkle. And I got the thought, this is so funny. The drummer for Tool, I got the thought, the drummer for Tool, has like $60 million and tries to show up in big videos, him playing drums and big stuff. And he's like kind of famous now, the drummer for Tool, whatever his name is. And Tool was one of my favorite bands. And there's weird Tool videos with the animation, like however their music sounds. But one of the animators for that died, and I think I communicated with him from heaven or the other side. And I really liked the music video, and nobody even knew who the heck he was. But he was the guy who did all the animation for the Tool videos. This weird animation. There's like creatures that like walked around and stuff in the Tool videos. This weird Tool videos, and he was just somebody I felt like really related to him and communicated with him wherever he was from back then. I didn't know if he was in heaven or not. I didn't have God and Jesus as much as I do now, and but the drummer of Tool has like a bunch of money, $60 million. People here, it feels like shit.
It's like I'll say $60,000, and they think, yeah, 60 million. To them it's so huge money that they just like that. But it's not really, because one of them bought one of the houses here in cash for 90,000, and her dad bought it for Dana. I shouldn't have said that. I don't know. And no, but I don't like any of those. I haven't put moves on her or any of that. And it's just been wrong. I'm not really supposed to. I don't want to do any of that. But she looks good. She's good looking, but not. I wouldn't say she's pretty, because I say that for Danica. But I say unto thee. I don't know. But the Tool guy, the drummer for Tool, like, I got a thought from God when I was watching his video. I thought, hey, he's pretty nice. He looks cool. Maybe I'd get along with him and be his friend or something like that, or meet him one day, one of those conventions or whatever those things are. And I was watching his video, the drummer for Tool, and then I got a thought from God to say right to his face, like, with all my heart, and maybe see how he would interact. And maybe I'd pick up, like, somehow on his heart from wherever he was, how he would be. Like, from God and Jesus, I got the thought to feel with all my heart towards him, just to say to his face right then, Rip Van Winkle. Like, Rip, like, rest in peace, Van Winkle, like he was so old. And it was stuff like that I don't like to say, because it's inappropriate. It's inappropriate. It feels wrong. I just don't feel my best saying that. But that one time, I was trying to get along with him and be nice to him, but God wanted me to see the reaction that he would do, what kind of person that man was. He has $60 million, one of the biggest drummers on earth, kind of famous and stuff, which could have been kind and good. He could live for God and Jesus and the Lord, and the Lord God, our Jesus, God and Jesus, our Lord and Savior, hopefully not the Dark Lord or something like that, But this guy, I was supposed to say, and I knew it was from a good feeling from God and Jesus, was say Rip Van Winkle to him. Like, I looked up and was an old man with a gray beard who let 20 years go by and was asleep, and then woke up and was an old man. And so I said Rip Van Winkle right to the drummer of Tool's face with all my heart, when I was just watching a video of him, and I was supposed to see how that man would really react back. So I said Rip Van Winkle, and I was like, oh shit, and it made me kind of nervous, but I had to say it because I was so kind and Jesus, like I was like Mr. Rogers for a few years out here. But whoa, I really messed up with some of that. I was mean. But so I said Rip Van Winkle, and I had to just start saying these things that normally I wouldn't say. And God had me say that Rip Van Winkle to his face, and I think he instantly thought, like, Rip, rest in peace. He's older than crap now, and he was supposed to feel that way somehow from God, because instead of acting young and cool, like, hey, it's going to last forever, he's young and good looking, he's famous and stuff, he had to face reality. He's getting older or something, he could die. And so I was supposed to say Rip Van Winkle to him, like, with all my heart. And instantly, he had been so nice and good, and I felt like I was watching the video, hey, maybe I'd be friends with him in real life. But I was supposed to think Rip Van Winkle, and instantly he's like started acting like he ripped off my arms to play drums with my arms. Some horror, some like really bad horror. He like ripped off my arms to start playing drums with my arms, and just what he would do to me. And that's just the kind of person that he could have become if he thought somebody was saying something. And so I had to see that how it could have been. So it was like pretty scary. I think that's what it was, but I don't know if it's true or not. And it could have been in my thoughts. I could have been crazy, and he could be a kind guy in real life. And maybe God was letting me know something else, like some of those people, you don't know how they are, and don't keep being nice and good to them, because then they could like try to stick a sword through your neck or something, or I don't know. And I don't know. But I was mean too. Like when I was trying to sell my house, I acted like I'd cut somebody with a sword. And then, no. But it was really bad. So I'm going to take my swords and bury them in the woods, or just throw them in the garbage. Because I had this one sword. It was wrong to get. We weren't supposed to have swords with me and Danica and the kids. And something about in our family, we didn't have guns around, even though my dad was in the military. He was in the military and was a lieutenant colonel, and he fought in the Vietnam War. But my hair looks awful, and okay, I don't know. And so I was gonna take this really expensive sword that was just a waste of money to act like I, you know, was spending a bunch of money to get my son something too expensive for no reason when he shouldn't have had a sword. And it just caused all kinds of problems. Like, he thought the sword was so cool. And then I found out in the Bible, if you live by the sword, you die by the sword. So if you live by the sword, it says live by the sword, die by the sword. I can't believe my friend Trivet was in a band called The Sword. You know, it's not that good of a thing to call, like, you know, but maybe they'll all get into heaven. They're probably okay. I don't know. But Trivet's been a little scary to me sometimes, but he believes in God and Jesus. He believed in God and Jesus more, like, at various times, but I hope to God he makes it to heaven. He's one of my good friends too. Trivet Wingo. He was in this big famous band called The Sword. But I had a sword, and you know, I don't know if I'll ever talk to Trivet again. You know, he's like he's some successful guy. I went on tour with Metallica, and he happened to be a good friend of mine. But you know, it may be wrong and inappropriate for me to talk to him if he's too sinful, and I don't know. But he believes in God and Jesus, so I don't know. But so I gotta get my sword and put it buried in the ground if I leave here on that mountain. I'm gonna put it like way up on the mountain, and maybe one day when my son's old enough, that I'm probably just gonna throw it away, because it was sin how I got the sword, and so I'll probably just bury it somewhere I can find it or throw it away, because it was out of sin why I bought the sword, like to prove I had a bunch of money, acting cool and spending like $200 or something, when I didn't have to spend any money at all. I really wasn't supposed to spend any money at this this event that I went to, and it was just for the wrong reasons, like wasting money. And it caused me to think the sword was so cool. I showed it to him when he was like 8 years old, and so I'm probably just gonna throw it away now. He doesn't care. But now he got these knives, and it's just awful. I shouldn't have showed him the sword. But I think he threw away his weapons and his little weapons. I used to have them growing up too. I had little knives and stuff and brass knuckles and crap like that, but I didn't ever punch anyone with them or hurt anyone. And he doesn't like hurting anyone. He won't hurt anyone either. I used to never hurt anyone, but sometimes I'd break things. That was a problem I had. And then when I really had to get on my own financially in my late 30s, I got on my own financially for a while, but it just, I was planning to, I have plenty of money now. I have plenty of money. And I don't have much cash to operate with. So if I sell my entire house, I'll have $200,000. I'll have $200,000. Whoopsie shit. And I'll try to, like, I'm a nerd. And I just worked really hard and saved every dollar. Like, there are people who have like $40 million in Los Angeles or make millions of dollars a year. And they'll probably show up as a cocaine bear, like at some party or something, like spending $12,000 or $40,000 in one night. And all I have is, like, to my entire name it will be like $200,000. That in LA, for a family to live there, it'd be so cheap to live there with only it's just almost humiliating after working 55 years, and I'm only 45 years old. I'm 45 years old, and I worked 55 years at those films and videos and music and real estate. I worked 20 years at real estate at homes, and all I have is $200,000. And it's not that much. It means get to work. It means really get to work. So but I started living beneath my means and not spending on things like I used to spend. That's why my clothes look kind of old sometimes. But I have bags of clothes. Like, I have tons of clothes I could probably wear. I have like all these clothes that might be good anyway. I don't know where they are, and I don't know how they fit. I I don't know exactly where they are. I know where they are. They're all in this closet. You want to see, but I don't know. I don't know exactly where in the closet they are. She hanging. Yeah, flash turned off. Flash just turned off. There's nobody down in here. There's nobody. Why did the flash not go on? For some reason, the flash isn't going on. Just someone wants to see if I get angry. Hi, Roger Lane, Ellington, and all the other people. So I get a where's the flash? It said enable flash. Oh, so the flash is on, but it's not. I don't get it. So here's the attic, and this is all my stuff that I've had. Some of it back to when I was like 10 or 12 years old. My comic books. I have a bunch of my stuff in all these boxes and bags, and I'm gonna just throw it away. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I think I have to move. It sucks because I don't know, but you know, there's a couple snowboards or whatever, sleigh for the kids. They just did not come. Her and the kid, she did not come home. It's not the kids' fault. They're children. They're, you know, it's not up to them to like. They have to do what their mom and dad say. You know, they do what their mom and dad say. You know, a child is not liable for his actions like an adult. They all get into heaven if they die